Hi, this is Marnie Pehrson and Sue Painter back with the Online Business Reality Show, or Marnie and Sue's Peep Show, where we pull back the curtains on our business and share with you a little bit about what's going on. So Sue just got back from an event about retreats, and I just released a little course on how to do your Kindle books fast, and so that's what we've been up to. Sue, you want to talk about your trip?
Sure. I went over to Fort Lauderdale to Sherry Rosenthal's Retreat Planning and Profits workshop. And she is somebody who has led groups of people on retreat all over the world for a number of years now. And now she is starting to teach the process by which she puts together retreats, launches them, markets them, fills them, and then, takes people on retreat and the follow-up to that and so forth. Plus, she's beginning to offer services because she herself has a travel agency to arrange all of this. And now she has a service where if you're looking to do a retreat, you can hire them to help you pick the place and do the negotiation with the facility and all that. So it was a 3-day event, and I enjoyed it. She had, one thing I really appreciated about what she did was she had a booklet. I was going to see if I could reach for it here. I mean, basically it's very thorough. It has everything in this little softbound book that she taught. So you really didn't have to write down anything that was on the PowerPoint presentation at all. You could just write any kind of notes that were additional, but everything's right there in the book. And I like that. And the one thing that I got from it, because I've been thinking about taking some of my clients on retreat, especially at the first of the year, because I think people need to kind of get away and have a little bit of a retreat and a little bit of downtime to really think about where they want to be, what they want to step out to do over the next year, and just have time to look at their calendar for the year. So I've been thinking of doing that for a couple years. And the one big thing that I got from it was it's really just like a live event or any other kind of thing. You can't just send an email out and fill it. You're going to have to build a launch, and you're going to have marketing strategies, 6 months ahead of time to really fill it. But if you do that, then you can monetize it better than if you just put an email out and hope people come. And the other thing she talked about, Marnie, which made me think about what you and I have said about the online industry, she said that, first of all, most of the people who tell you that they're interested ahead of time will not be the people who will attend. And secondly, the event will probably fill only in the last 60 days before the event, which is after you've already had to make your final payment often to the facility that's hosting it for you. So you have to really manage your cash flow, and you have to be able to have the guts to stay the distance because it's going to fill kind of at the last minute, which I think you and I have been seeing even for webinars online anyway. I mean, that's kind of nothing new to me. So those were some of the things I got. I'm going to do a little video about it with a more thorough review, and I'll let the people in the Peep Show know the link to that if they want to hear more about it in detail.
Cool. Yeah. Procrastinators are us, right?
And it's funny. I mean, that was brought home to me. I was in this giveaway, this free gift giveaway online lately called the Upscale Your Business giveaway, and it was just business tools, and it ran for about 3 weeks, and yesterday was the last day. And I really didn't have that many people signing up for what my gift was, which was a checklist of how to be a really good joint venture partner. But the last day, yesterday, which was Sunday, right? All of a sudden, all these people started hitting that and signing up for it. And they just waited till the last minute. They waited till they got the email, I guess it said, this is the last day. It's going to be gone tomorrow. And then they finally took action. I don't know why people do that. I'm not a fan of procrastination, but I guess there are a lot of people who are.
Evidently. So I just thought I'd share a couple Kindle tips from I created this 5 steps to Kindle creation course, a little video course on how to do it really fast. And so a couple tips that I would share is that Kindle has some, or Amazon and the KDP has some really cool tools to help you create the cover photo for your picture inside there. You might want to check that out when you go to submit your Kindle to kdp.amazon.com. And also they have a pricing tool in there that will help you. It'll give you kind of a graph of how long your book is. You know, it takes into account how long your book is and what other books of that price range go for. And it'll show you where they peak out on the most revenues and most sales, and then it might drop after a certain price. So be sure to use their little tools there and take a look at them. So that's kind of a tip on the Kindle creation. And then I thought we could also talk. I did a little class the other day. I did this series of classes for a friend of mine's doTERRA team on just different aspects of business. And the last one that I did was on time management, because I always get that question, how do you get so much done? And I put it together into an ebook several years ago on how to get more done in a day than most people accomplish in a week. And so I went through some of my tips in that. So I thought Sue's probably got some time-saving tips that you might share on how you get things done, and then I can share some of the things that I have. But so you want to talk about it, or do you want me to run first?
Doesn't matter. You go ahead, and then I'll follow on.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that has been really helpful for me over the years is to create lists of things that can be done in, say, 5 minutes, or things that can be done in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So in 5 minutes, you can make an appointment. You can follow up on an email. You know, you can move your laundry over, just, and have a list of things that can be done in 5 minutes. So instead of killing time, use the time. So if you find that you have a few minutes, or say 10 minutes, you might be able to read a chapter in a motivational book, or a few pages in it, or something that is educational. Or you might be able to wash a load of dishes in your house, or whatever. Come up with 10-minute things and 15-minute things. And I gave the students in that class like a list of possible things to kind of get them going, thinking about it. But the main thing is to, whatever you do it with intention. So like, sorry, I'm trying to turn my phone off so I don't have a problem. So like even taking breaks, do it with intention. Like I scatter what I call bliss breaks throughout a day, so that, because it's just important to take a break as it is to do the items on your to-do list, because it rejuvenates you. And if you can find things that you can do in a 15-minute period that really rejuvenate you and tap you back into your creativity. And for example, for me, if I get up and dance around, crank the music up and dance around, or if I play the piano, or maybe go outside and dig in the dirt for my garden, or take a walk, or, that'll rejuvenate me. And then when I come back, I'll be able to look at whatever I'm working on with fresh eyes, and I might come at it from a new angle, and it'll engage the creative side of my brain. So for you, it might be something totally different. Whatever rejuvenates you, take like a 15-minute break and do that 2-3 times throughout the day, especially if you're working hard on a project. That's been really helpful for me. So Sue, do you want to add to any of that?
I agree. One kind of funny thing that has happened to me, I tend to get really focused, and when I get focused, like the whole rest of the world goes away. But I can accomplish so much when I'm like really on it and focused like that. I think everybody has times a day that they're more productive than others. For me, early morning is a very productive time of day. If I wake up and I'm already thinking about the day, or I've got a good idea for something that I want to try that day in my business, and it's 4:30 or 5 in the morning, I may just pop out of bed and go and work on that while the house is quiet and nobody else is up yet, and I don't have to run around and feed the dog and take him out and all that kind of stuff, and just really work on it for a couple of hours, and then I might go back to bed. Now, I don't often do that, but sometimes I do that just because I'm really excited about what it is that I'm going to try or do that day. So I have the ability to kind of lock out the rest of the world and really focus in. And I think learning to be that focused is really a help, because you're much faster at doing things when you don't let everything interrupt you. So like I don't listen to email, I don't get on social media, I don't do anything. I just really focus in. And I think music actually taught me that. I was a pianist for a number of years, from the time I was really small all the way up through to college, and actually went to a special school when I was younger for people who were going to be concert pianists. And then my arthritis kicked in when I was very young, and my hands got bad and I had to quit. But it really taught me, music really taught me about focus and how to really look at complex things and break them down and do them step by step. So it's one reason I am such a fan for everybody learning how to do something musical, because it really teaches you a lot of things that are good business building activities. And you play piano, Marnie, so you know that too. The other thing is I chunk my time, and that's something that actually Allie Brown taught me long years ago. I'll have days where I have half days of client work, and then, half days of working on my business. Then I'll have a day that's maybe free so that I can do something else, or get a book read that I need to get done, or go out and enjoy the beach or whatever. Now, the funny thing I was going to tell you about is, as you know, Bill and I have been for 3.5 or almost 4 months now on this new eating plan. And so in this eating plan, you stop every 2.5 to 3 hours and you eat a very small meal, like just 110 calories. And so consequently, every 2.5 to 3 hours, I'm forced to take a break from my work, because I've got to go eat like either a bar or one of their shakes or a little cup of soup or whatever. And it takes maybe 10 minutes to fix whatever it is and then sit there and eat it, and then you're ready to go again. So now I've gotten used to taking all these little breaks throughout the day. And as you say, it really is refreshing. I'm not so sure I would call them bliss breaks. I can't say that it's extremely blissful to eat a protein bar, but usually I do go outside, and that for me will break my train of thought and refresh me. I go out and look at the Gulf, or I go out if I'm home in Nashville and look at the backyard and, watch my dog play or something like that, or go sit on the front porch for a while. And so being outside in nature seems to kind of reset and recalibrate me. I'm also a fan, if you really get tired in the afternoon, I'm a fan of a 15 or 20-minute power nap. And I know some people are against that and say you should never nap. But if you're like me and you have gotten up at 5 o'clock and you've worked till maybe 9, and then you've gone and slept until 10, and then you've gotten up and you've done client work until from 10 to maybe 3 with a short break from lunch, you might be ready for 15 or 20 minutes at 3 o'clock, because you've already done a good portion of work that day. And then by 4 or 4:30, you're up and ready to work a couple of hours before you go off to have dinner. So I don't usually nap. I did nap a lot when I was sicker and when I was still in the wheelchair and rehabbing my leg, because I was very exhausted all the time. But it's nice to know that that's there if you need it. And so I'm not adverse to a little power nap now and then, especially if I've gotten up really, really early to work on something I'm excited about. So those are the things. I think being really effective in your time, and don't do like a client Monday, a client Tuesday, a client Wednesday, a client Thursday. Group it all together and get it done. And then you have free time, a bulk of free time to work on big projects that you want to bring to bear in your business.
Yeah, those are good ideas. I'm a believer in the power nap too, especially when I would write fiction. I'd get stuck on a scene and I needed the next one, but I didn't know what it'd be. I'd like set an intention. Okay, I need the next scene. I go take a nap for about 15 minutes and wake up. And a lot of times the scene would be in my head.
Right.
Yeah. I was, what you said about the piano made me think of an article I read a while back, and I Googled it really fast. And it was talking about how people who play the piano, their left and right hands almost become, the way their brain is functioned, it's like you can't tell whether they're right-handed or left-handed anymore, because it starts to get
integrated.
Yeah, and one other thing it said, I'll read this because I think it was good. It says pianists are able to make their brains into better rounded machines. It turns out the heavy tax of piano playing makes their minds efficient in every way. A study showed that pianists' brains have an extremely efficient connection between the different parts of the frontal lobe compared to non-musicians. And that's a big deal. The frontal lobe is responsible for integrating a ton of information into decision making. It plays a major role in problem solving, language, spontaneity, decision making, and social behavior. Pianists then tend to integrate all of the brain's information into more efficient decision making processes. Because of this high-speed connection, they can breeze through slower, methodical thinking and tap into quicker and more spontaneous creativity.
Oh, pianists just rock. We just rock, Marnie.
So thank you, Mama, for making me practice.
I do find that, and I know that there has been some other research that has shown that as you get older, one of the best things to do to keep your brain nimble is to force yourself to learn another language, which we as Americans are really lazy about doing, in my humble opinion, because it does use both sides of your brain. But I agree with you, piano, and I played other instruments as well, but to me, piano is the base instrument. And it taught me how to look at something complex and break it down. It taught me phrasing. It taught me timing. It taught me flow of energy. It taught me teamwork. Playing an orchestra, taught me teamwork for sure. So, and it really taught me discipline. I went to a special school for a while when I was in elementary and junior high school, where I did academics in the morning, and then for 4 hours every afternoon, I studied with my teacher. Because I was on the road to become a concert pianist. That's what I wanted to do. And when you are at it and at it and at it for those 4 hours, you learn to just really, really get down into the weeds of it and parse out the little places that you're not getting it right, and work and work and work until it becomes smoother. And it is like one of my favorite books of all time is Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. I just so love that book. And it is true that if you are a musician, you practice and you get muscle memory. And plus, of course, your hands and your shoulders get stronger. And so eventually you have such power in your hands and you have such muscle memory that your brain, it gets very rapid. That's how people can run scales so quickly and arpeggios and all those kind of things. So it's great. And that's why I'm so passionate about little kids in school really having that opportunity to do music, because it helps develop their brain and it helps develop their ability to be in the flow of life. And that's what we need so much. And instead, a lot of school systems have cut all that out and think that it's not really what people need to learn. And they are wrong. It's just as important as algebra in my book. So that's my rant for the day. Pianists unite. Be a better business person. And did you know that actually a lot of the software companies, when they first got started back in the day, like when Intergraph started, they hired one of my concert musician friends because musicians could understand how to do the programming faster. And that was before you could even get a degree in programming. But musicians could see the complexity and understand, like all the parts of an orchestra score. They could understand how to do the programming to make early computers do what they did. And actually the father of digital image processing, who is one of my own business mentors, I've known him for many years now, he is a musician. Huh. He's not a pianist, he's a classical guitarist. Oh, cool. But he worked out a lot of the things that had to do with digital image processing. He would take a break and go play his classical guitar.
I think people underestimate a lot of those skills like that, like music or even play.
Yeah.
Like my brother he's like a physicist, and he came up with the formula to calculate the velocity of any point inside of a vortex or something, But when
I'm not even sure I know what the hell that means, but
it's like over my head.
But more power to him anyway.
Sorry. But when he was a kid, he was a goofball. He just was a very creative play sort of person. Yeah. And he underestimates the value of that play, but I think it really made him who he is.
Yeah. We need it really is what you were talking about, kind of the bliss break stuff. You really do need that ability to play. And in fact, I can think of a lot of examples of that. One of our friends, who is a very well-renowned radiation oncologist, also is a very accomplished pianist. So, those kind of things, it really does help develop you as a person and helps develop how your brain is wired and how it works. So we're all for that. So maybe we should do a retreat and teach people some simple piano and see if that helps them with their business. From musician, How about we do a retreat called From Music to Money?
There you go.
I'll do that. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. We could at least teach people drum rhythms. We could have drumming. And then we could talk about how to maximize your money. Actually, I would do that. I think that would be fun to do. Maybe that's what we do this fall, Marnie.
There you go.
We should talk. You're laughing, but I'm serious. So Marnie had a birthday this weekend. If y'all don't know that, you should email Marnie and tell her happy birthday. And I won't ask her about her weekend since she was enjoying a new fellow, right, Marnie?
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. I rode a motorcycle for the first time, so that was fun. I really liked that. I think I could get used to that.
I'm turning my head because my dog is wandering around the house, which probably means he needs out, but he's just going to have to wait a minute because Bill's not here right now. Hang on a minute, Jake. Hang on. So, all right. Anything else?
Don't think so. I think that's about it. We can see if anybody asked a question, I guess. Let me get back.
And then I just want to say, I saw somebody make a mistake the other day that really cost them a lot of money in their business. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. When you have had people in your marketing funnel and they have not spent any money with you yet, or maybe they have spent $20, $30, $40, $50 with you for just a really low priced offer. And then you decide you're going to make another offer to them. And the offer that you make is a $7,000 offer. Don't be surprised when it doesn't sell, because it is very hard to take people from $0 or $47 or even $97 up to a $7,000 offer. They've got to have a really high know, like, and trust factor, and they've got to really know and trust you and the offers that you make and the work that you do before they're going to be willing to invest at that level. So I saw somebody do that the other day, and if they had had a step stair offer where maybe they had something for $9.97 and something for $15.97 and then something for $59.97, they would have at least sold a lot more of the bottom two tiers and then had a few people take them up on their top tier. But to do it the way they did it, it scared people, and almost nobody bought. And then they were disappointed. They left money on the table. There were a lot of people who were blown away by the large, the large dollar amount of the offer, because they had not invested hardly anything with this person yet. So just watch that when you're doing your pricing. I mean, that's one of the things I really love to work with people about, because you have to watch that. It has to make sense from the buyer's standpoint. You may think what you're offering is worth $7,000, and it might be, but you probably need to find a way to chunk it down a little bit and make some lower cost offers too, if it's people who haven't already spent a good bit of money with you. So that's all.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We did have a comment from Joanne Musa, said, happy belated birthday. Thank you very much, Joanne. She said she was thinking about me. And then also she said she agreed with Sue. It's the same for certain sports. Discipline practice does a lot for kids and is just as important as academics. Yeah. So I think so too. I played a lot of basketball. You learn a lot about teamwork and how to collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All righty. Well, I'm not sure. I can't remember when we said the next one was going to be. I think we might not have one next week because I'm flying to Scottsdale on Monday, come back on Thursday, and go to Tampa on Friday for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what I'm thinking is we might have to skip next week and then put out a schedule for the following week. So Marnie, maybe you and I can do that after we are not live anymore. We'll look at our schedule for the out weeks. But I'm going to be at Allie Brown's Repower Workshop Tuesday and Wednesday, and Monday and Thursday are travel days for me because it's hard to get all the way to Scottsdale and all the way back to the East Coast. You lose a lot of time doing that. So,
okay. All righty. We'll do that.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye.